251. One episode removed for our legendary 250th episode. I say legendary because it means a lot to us. We didn't really do much different, but it's still exciting. I think so, anyway. I'm so happy to be here
Nine
for 251 episodes.
9 more weeks, and it will be the 5th birthday.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Agreed.
Turn that right now.
I think it's pretty damn crazy too.
Yeah. 221 episodes of me and Brandon.
Crazy.
Right?
Absolute crazy.
Tell me about it. All right, we are here every week talking about the week's DC Comics releases, and this week is no different. And this week includes we have
Quite a
Nightwing
lot.
number 127, Titans number 24, Detective Comics number 1098, The New Gods number 7, Superman Unlimited number 2, and Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton number 1, a special mini-series as part of the Summer of Superman, with our honorable mentions being Catwoman number 77, Zatanna number 5, Batman Superman World's Finest number 40, Batman and Robin Year 1 number 8, and Wonder Woman number 22, with a deferred Absolute book with Absolute Flash number 4, which you can check out at the end of the month when we do our Absolute Comics Roundup. Yeah,
Sounds good to me. It's a hell of an intro, huh?
Books. Yeah, thank you.
And a lot.
So while we do have a lot of books here, Marvel's actually losing a couple of books, and I'm kind of disappointed about this news. Came to my attention yesterday that 2 books I've been enjoying, West Coast Avengers and Iron Man, are both being canceled at issue 10, and I am devastated.
How devastated are you?
I'm so devastated. I got nothing. I'm just devastated. I don't know.
So devastated I can't come up with a bad joke.
Yeah.
That's pretty devastating.
Iron Man has been freaking stellar this current run. It's a damn shame there's only 10 issues, but what can you do? Shit
Nothing,
happens.
apparently.
Right?
Surprising that they're ending it that early.
Yeah.
Even Jerry Duggan got like 20-something issues, I think.
Yeah.
He said,
friggin-
even Jerry Duggan. Poor Jerry Duggan.
God, who was it that wrote that really bad one a couple of years ago?
Oh, Chris Cantwell. Yeah.
Christopher Cantwell got like 24 issues.
25 issues, I think.
Yeah. Like, that run wasn't good.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anything I know from Marvel, and granted that knowledge is limited, it's probably been canceled because they've got a new number 1 in the works.
Could be. Could very well be. However, issue 9 just came out, and there's been no solicits yet, so I'm hoping. I mentioned this to you yesterday, Josh. I find it's a really damn shame, at least for Iron Man, because I had a 3-issue opening story arc, which had a lot of promise and had some really fun moments and a lot of great action and a lot of great character moments, and then jumped right into the current arc, which is a tie into One World Under Doom. And that's all this series is going to be.
That's unfortunate.
That's very unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate that
Yeah.
that's going to happen to something that you're enjoying. Hopefully, more people are enjoying it, and maybe that'll mean that we won't have Iron Man shut down all the way. There won't be an Iron Man coming back. Hopefully, right?
Well, I mean, at least in this current decade, since the year 2020, I think he's had like 4 series. So maybe more. I wouldn't be surprised that this cancellation just means, like you said, a new number 1 coming down the line. Just who knows when.
However, I don't know that the same thing could be said for West Coast Avengers.
No, I couldn't even tell you when the last time we had a West Coast Avengers title. Probably the 90s.
2018.
Oh shit! Really?
Ooh, that's a lot more recent than I would have thought.
Yeah.
Kelly Thompson. That went out pretty sad too. It was only about 11 issues.
That's a shame. This has been a fun run too.
Yeah. I just don't think it has the capacity to sell like it did in the 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, the Avengers are a popular, well-known name, but I just don't think that success translates to West Coast Avengers like it may
No.
have when sales were a little bit higher.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, in other news on the DC side of things, and this to me is quite surprising, they announced today that Tom Taylor and Danielle De Nicuolo are teaming up again to bring a book called Court, CORT, Children of the Round Table. That comes out September 10th. It's an original IP from Tom Taylor and Danielle De Nicuolo, and it is
Interesting.
creator owned, according to Tom Taylor. Which
Nice.
I correct me if I'm wrong. That's a first for DC, isn't it?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Yeah, which is
Brandon?
crazy.
No.
No?
Peter David had a series in the early 2000s. God, what was it called? With David Lopez. Can't remember the name. Fallen Angel, which actually, wait, yeah, no, that's there are several examples of that because Mark Waid did the same thing with Barry Kitson with Empire, that initially was published at Image, then DC, then moved to IDW when they did the reprints. So
Oh, okay.
And it remained creator owned after
and it
DC
remains
began to publish
creator
it.
owned. Yes,
Interesting.
yeah. If you have a
Wow.
contract with DC that stipulates that you own the rights to the book, they have no claim to it, so you can take
Oh,
it wherever
right.
you want.
Yeah. Well,
It's
still,
just it's kind of surprising thinking that DC would sign something like that.
Yeah. Now, I will
Yeah,
say
I mean-
this: Tom Taylor did say that it's. I mean, don't take it with a grain of salt. I could be misreading it, but he did kind of hint that this does take place within the DC universe as it is. But it is a DC all
That's odd.
ages graphic novel, 6 issues. It's meant for middle grade schools. Um, so that age group. Starts publishing on October 6th. So don't expect it to be like part of the next big crossover or anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
so
feature
it is
Nightwing's butt, apparently.
no. Oh hell no, not a book for middle schoolers. But Tom Taylor's writing it, so who the fuck knows? No, so yeah, that's I just like wait, hang on, that's confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, that the headline does say begin September 10th, and then at the bottom of the article, it says it publishes October 6th.
Good old proofreading.
Oh, collecting issues. Oh, what the fuck? That's 2026. Shit, I
Mm.
guess I should finish reading the date. The graphic novel collecting all 6 issues will publish a year later on October 6th, 2026. But the first of the 6 issues will release on September 10th of this year. So yeah, if you have any kids in your life that you want to get started on comic books, here's a great opening set. Because Tom Taylor, I think, is a terrific writer still, especially for his creator-owned and indie stuff. And this just screams a lot of indie, so I'm all for it. That's going to be good, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. I'm getting Camelot 3000 vibes from this for anyone who remembers that series in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I hope it is.
Damn, that name sounds familiar for some reason.
I'm
Probably
sure you've
read
seen
it.
the cover somewhere, but
You probably owned it.
yeah. Hope it does well.
Yeah, that'll be good. I just want to complain a little bit as well about a figure I got recently. Recently got Jade.
Oh, that pisses me off.
Yeah, this red platinum figure, which means it's super hard to find. I had it pre-ordered, luckily on GameStop in Canada, now officially EB Games, and I got what I consider to be lucky to get it. Then I go to the store to pick it up, and there's like 2 more on the shelf. So I don't know. The red platinum just seems really fucking weird to me. It's supposed to be a rare as fuck figure, but I get it. It doesn't even have hands. This right here is everything that comes in the package, apart from the trading
That's
card,
insane.
right? With
No
fire, Beatrice
accessories,
DaCosta,
no.
the flame effect comes off, and there's hands underneath. There's nothing underneath this. It's just the peg.
That's ridiculous.
It's nuts.
Yeah.
That
For the price
ruins
we
the figure
pay?
for me.
Like I'm excited to have a Jade figure, but this is crazy. It really
It
feels like
ruins it
Todd
for me.
is trying to make sure people don't buy female figures because he keeps saying female figures don't sell. So he's making them shitty on purpose so people don't buy them.
Well, only got another year or so of that, and
Yeah, then Mattel
then
takes
that's all
over.
over with.
And then we have oversized proportions.
Or 6-inch tall figures.
Yeah. Well,
The little tiny Marvel Legends size figures.
like this one. At least this Invisible Woman comes with an invisible bubble that I literally lost today for a few minutes. Because it's
Couldn't find
invisible.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it fell off and I couldn't find it until I stepped on it. Like, oh shit, it really is invisible. Anyway,
That is fucking hilarious.
yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for anybody else excited about this figure and you haven't got it yet. Be warned.
Be warned.
What you see is what you get. There is no
And
secrets. There is
it's
nothing hidden.
not
There is nothing extra.
much. Was there a card?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
all the everything McFarlane puts out comes with the trading card for some reason. I got a stack of them that are just like sitting around.
Not true. I did not get a card for Clayface when I bought Clayface.
Wait, really?
Yep.
Oh shit, that's actually
Yep.
surprising. But I was in the 3-pack with Batman and Batwoman, right?
Yes, and I didn't get a card for any of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no card. There was nothing. I got 2 stands, and the 3 figures, and that was it.
That's very surprising.
I was disappointed.
Yeah, because even like their statuettes have trading cards in them.
Yeah, there was nothing in that one.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well then. Yeah, maybe it's just as good. Mattel's getting the IP. I don't know.
Which is weird because like I just got that Flash and Titano duo, and they
Yeah.
both came with cards.
Yeah, and I've had because that was that set with Clayface Batman and Batwoman. That was a boxed up set. There was no clear packaging on it, right? You had to take it out to see what
Correct.
you get. Yeah.
Yep.
I've had a few boxes like that, special editions with the full box, and I've got trading cards out of all of them.
Yep.
Not multi-pack.
Matter of fact, that's it right there.
That's it right there. Yeah. The ones
I
had were
use
just
I
single
use
figure.
this to keep all of my extra parts in.
That's a good idea. Damn. Yeah. Well, that's disappointing too. We'll have to see
I
what the
was
future holds.
really bummed out, and then I was bummed out. Like I want Bane, the OG Bane, the big fucker,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to wonder more and more whether or not I want him because Clayface, I had problems with him falling down, because it was difficult to get his legs positioned just right. You had to kind of really force it in there.
Right.
And I snapped his leg off doing that. Yeah, no, I fixed it. Super glue. His knee don't bend anymore. And with Titano, it's just like Etrigan. The bottoms of his feet are so rounded that there's nothing that keeps his ass level.
Weird.
There's no pegs in the bottom of his feet to do anything with.
Well,
so
then.
massive.
Well, I can say, at least on my side, I have Kilowog and Mongol are oversized figs, and they both stand up just fine by themselves. So it might just be depending on the figure.
Titano is monstrous. It's bigger than Clayface.
I have Necron as well, but it's just the way the character's designed. His legs and feet are very tiny, so he can't stand up by himself. but he's very top heavy.
He like if you put him on the stand, he'll
Oh,
stand up by
yeah, on the
himself, right?
stand he's
Okay.
fine, but I'm talking about without the stand, even, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, Clayface didn't even come with a stand.
Neither did Titano. That
Yeah.
Even Carapax came with the stand.
Yeah.
Doesn't do shit. But, it
Yeah.
came with it.
Well,
That's
yeah,
enough
that's
figures, I
that's a shame.
suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all I've got in news. How are you guys doing? You got anything exciting happening?
Anything exciting happening? Brandon went to that comic book sighting. It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I became my first step towards becoming a cyborg.
Oh, I thought you were about to show us a cool ass tattoo, but
Nope.
fuck.
That's an old ass tattoo, not a cool ass tattoo. No, I got that little whatchamacallit loop recorder inserted the other day.
Right.
That's good news.
That's good.
It's good news.
Something goes a little wonky and I'm not paying attention to it or whatever. They'll let me know.
Right
I
on.
don't have to be so hyper vigilant. That's awesome.
But yes, Brandon, how were the signings?
Well, I talked a little bit before the show, but it was more like 3 signings over the course of 2 weeks.
Because he's a
There's
soldier.
been a lot of people making the rounds, I guess. But Thursday, the day I wasn't here when you guys recorded, was the day of the Scott Snyder signing, which of the 3 was probably my least favorite, just because it was like a lot of the signings, a lot of the longer signings are just kind of standing in line and waiting for your turn. So that's never as much fun, but Scott was incredibly pleasant and personalized all the stuff, and I'm super stoked to send those out to you guys as soon as I can. I didn't realize that the post office was closed today because it's Juneteenth, which is a holiday
Oh
here in the
my
States.
God! I can't believe I've.
I didn't even realize the date.
Yeah, no, I had geared up and I'd brought everything out today, only to realize that every post office I went to was closed, which is kind of unfortunate. So I'll have to send those out over the weekend. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, aside from that, very nice, and was happy to personalize everything. So I really hope you guys appreciate those.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
the day before was honestly the one I was most looking forward to, which was Dennis Camp, who was doing a signing at a comic store about 30 minutes away from where I live, and I was eagerly awaiting that one because he'd done about 3 different signings in that same store, a must live nearby in Brooklyn, but I'd missed every single one just because I'd been out of town. It was just really unfortunate luck. So I was just like, I have to make it to this one, like regardless of what it takes, and I did. And he was really nice, and was able to answer all the questions, even though the guys at the signing were like, tapping my shoulder, trying to get me to leave because they wanted to make sure everyone else could get their stuff signed. But he was happy to oblige. And answer some questions. And most
That's
recently,
awesome.
the one yesterday was James Tynan, another Midtown comic signing, and that one was fun, just because I got to go with my girlfriend. So I actually was like talking to someone for the most time, so it went by a lot smoother, and the line wasn't as long, which was nice. And James Tynan is just a very pleasant person. Signed the copy of the Razor Blades hardcover that I had. So that one was probably
Nice.
the most fun
Nice.
of the 3. But yeah, I guess everyone has been doing the rounds. And I have like an exclusive. It's not like I'll get in trouble if I reveal this because they kind of did it to themselves. But when I was at the Snyder signing, honestly, the most crucial information I got from that was someone on because they have a live stream that goes like to just record the event and get people hyped on social media or whatever. But the guy who was running the live stream, I think, like mistakenly read some of the upcoming signings when he wasn't supposed to, which is
Oh.
how I found out that on July 18th, Robert Venditti is going to be doing a signing, which is
Oh,
pretty
damn.
cool. So I don't know if you guys had anything that you wanted signed there. Rob, I can only imagine you probably want Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps signed, and that one
I
I'll probably
have
have to.
about 51 floppies, 6 trades.
Jeez.
As
I mean, I could just get
soon as
you
I hear Venditti's name, just like, yeah.
yeah. I can try and track down a copy of. Well, I mean, you could tell me which volume you'd prefer, but
I mean, I'll be honest, I have them all. I could just send it to you.
you sure? I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Well, it's up to you. It'd probably be easier if I just get a new one and send it to you.
Fair enough. I'll see if there's any I'm missing. I'll let you know. Much appreciated.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I don't think he was supposed to say that just because like he said it, and then the lady who was moderating the line was like, "You're not supposed to say that." He's like, "Oops, well they know now." So, spoilers.
Damn. That's crazy. Well, shit. Well, I'll be honest. When you said some breaking news, I thought maybe you were gonna say like there was a Scott Snyder announcement or a
Oh,
tiny
That's what I was
announcement.
saying. I was
Yeah.
like, "You gonna give me
No.
some Witches 2 news?" But
No,
Word.
nothing like that.
Scott Snyder writing one of the crossovers next year.
all right, man, with Venditti, like, gosh, I guess my favorite Venditti stuff would probably be mostly Hawkman, some Flash, and I really like the. Okay, you guys are gonna think this is stupid, but do you remember the movies, the Percy Jackson movies?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, the
Books,
books
yes.
that those were based off of. Venditti. So sorry, Robert Venditti. Venditti did graphic novel adaptations of those, and I thought that he did a really, really good job of that.
Oh, right on.
Nice.
I
I
feel
didn't know
like
there
he
was
did
such a thing.
Justice League too, right? Am I missing like a big Justice League
He
thing?
did like a fill-in arc
Yeah.
after
Oh, okay.
Snyder had ended his run on the book.
Oh, is he the one that did the outer space adventure?
No,
No.
that would have been Cy Spurrier, I think. Yeah, if you're talking about the one where they like go to
Become
the planet,
gods.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the
That was
three-part
Spurrier.
Spurrier
Yeah.
story.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's signing for Planet Death, which is the title coming out from everyone's favorite publisher to hate Bad Idea. So should be a lot of hubbub about that.
What a fantastic publisher.
Yeah,
Just-
I think they
just
were
the-
very much aware of the title.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because a lot of their books are pretty good. They're just
Yeah.
impossible to find and more expensive than they should be.
Yeah. It's honest. It's brilliant marketing, though.
I think that was the intention.
Yeah.
Rob, how do you feel about the fact that one of your, if not your favorite Green Lantern writer of all time, wrote an even better Hawkman, had an even better Hawkman run?
All the power to him. Look. If Venditti's Hawkman can get me to love Hawkman, I wouldn't be surprised.
Bro, it's like 2 to 3 years long. It was really good
Yeah.
for sure. I thought so anyway. A lot of people didn't like the way that it ended.
I think that's
Was-
more just because of the year of the villain crown.
Mm.
Yeah.
Not so much because of the book, actually. suffering in quality.
Year of the Villain hurt a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
A
yeah, that was a
lot
shame.
of stuff.
I want to ask a question in secret. Do
No.
y'all want to talk about the thing we talked about before we went live?
I,
The leak.
I have
Yeah,
no
I
idea
mean, I
what
assume
you're
it's
talking
going to
about.
make the rounds pretty soon. So,
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, presumably it'll be out tomorrow if it's not already out. Because like
Oh, okay. So
people,
it's like
yeah,
really
comic stores
really
hand out
soon.
previews like on Wednesday. So I don't know. There's like a stigma about it for some reason, but I remember getting previews on Wednesdays, and like that
Yeah.
was at least 2 days before the official solicits came out. But if we're talking about the same thing, as everyone knows by now, Marvel and DC have buried the hatchet and are gearing up to do two crossover specials in the fall. But these are not ordinary specials in that they just focus on two characters interacting and call it a day. They're really more like uh, anthology titles, might not be the right word for it. Like
But
an
something
oversized,
similar.
yeah, an oversized issue with a series of backup stories that also
Yeah.
has crossovers as well. And so the question was, who else is attached to this, and what crossovers will they be doing? There were a few names that were mentioned: Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Kevin Smith. But now, thanks to the leaks from previews, we have official confirmation on what those are going to be, and that is Green Arrow and Daredevil with Kevin Smith and Adam Kubert, which is a hell of a team.
Oh yeah.
Crypto, the Super Dog, and everyone's favorite land shark, Jeff, from Kelly Thompson and Guri Huru, and Captain America and Wonder Woman from Chip Zdarsky and Terry Dodson, which
Interesting.
is some very interesting team ups. I do say so myself.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
will say, artistically, the one that is probably the most disappointing is Terry Dodson. Not because I don't love Terry Dodson. Terry Dodson is incredible, but Terry Dodson has done a ton of Wonder Woman, and I've seen his Captain America countless times, and I'm sure it'll look great. But I really wish they had chosen someone from the Marvel camp or from the DC camp who had done neither of those characters, so I could just get a sense of what it looked like.
Yeah. Like,
Really neat pairings, though, for sure.
oh, definitely.
I think so.
I'm stoked about the Green Arrow Daredevil story. That is a hell of a pairing and a
Yeah,
hell of a team to take that on.
I can't see the full cover because it's just a cropped image, but the one that's been leaked on the Marvel subreddit has a cover drawn by Marco Cicchetto, which is pretty wicked. So seeing him do Daredevil again, that's always awesome. But I'm really stoked to see, like, you can only kind of see his arm, so I already knew it was going to be. But seeing him draw Green Arrow, that'll be pretty cool. So
Hell
just the
yeah.
cover, it's not the full interiors. But Adam Kubert is also great. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I must have misheard you when we talked about it before because I thought you said Joe Quesada, Joe Q.
Oh no. Well, Joe Q did the Guardian Devil storyline back in 1998, but he's not
Right.
drawing this. But that would have been a nice pick. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe Q hasn't done work for DC since Sword of Azrael, maybe. That was like 1992.
Well, he's done some covers,
Yeah,
not like pretty
not
recently.
interior stuff now.
No. God, can you imagine a Joe Quesada drawing Green Arrow book now?
That'd be pretty crazy. That'd
Holy
be pretty
crap.
crazy.
Oh, he might not have had all the greatest ideas as editor in chief, but
He can
God,
draw.
could that man draw?
Yeah, no one ever disputed that. I think that was the problem. Everyone was
Yeah,
just like, "Shut up and draw."
yeah.
That's the one thing you can do right.
But I will say this: between the
Shut up and draw,
the-
Joe.
the 2000s heads of DC and Marvel between Joe Quesada and Dan DiDio. If I had to choose, I'd pick Joe Quesada any day.
Well, they arguably made more money, so I
Yeah.
will say they definitely knew what they were doing commercially. I think it was kind of for all the wrong reasons, though.
Yeah.
Like part of the reason that we're in a perpetual state of comic events is because of the Joe Q doctrine.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was the one who was like, I could be misquoting him or I could just be making up this quote, but I'm pretty sure he was the same guy that was like, outrage is still good publicity or some such kind of thing. Because there were quite a few controversial decisions made under his tenure, and for all of the faults of that, they were very good at skewing attention towards people actually buying the books.
I mean, to a certain degree, he's not wrong.
What?
Like it's people talking about the books, right? Even outrage is better than silence
Yeah, or
because it means people are spending the money and buying the books and talking about the books. The stories are eliciting a reaction, as opposed to the stories getting nothing and just be boring.
That's way too close to something is better than nothing,
I guess.
in my opinion.
Yeah, but I get where he's coming from.
Yeah, he's saying there's no such thing as bad publicity. Whether or not they're talking about it in a great way, or if they're talking about it in a hate way, they're still talking about it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's how you end up with such long, amazing Spider-Man runs.
At least the current one's pretty good.
Well, good. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. Should we let some other people hear about how absolutely fucking great, or maybe not so great, these books were?
By all means, I think we should.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, let's kick it off, shall we?
If I may begin. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong list here. Hang on, shit. If I may begin, I just want to bring up Batman Superman The World's Finest number 40 I read today, and it's out of the crossover now. It's back to its regular scheduled stories, and this being a one-shot story, one-issue story. It was funny, it was action-packed, and it was very good. And if we were scoring it, I would probably give it a 9 or 9.25 out of 10.
Pretty good.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was absolutely smitten with this week's issue.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to read it yet, Brandon?
No, I can't say I have, but based on that review, it makes me want to check it out.
I'm still skeptical, but
Have you read this week's yet?
no, that's why I'm still skeptical.
Oh, okay.
But I will. You know that.
It might be hit or miss for you. It's not like the cutesy fun that the like previous issues have been about. It's maybe a little more grounded, but it does have some funny like friendship moments between Batman and Superman and them like, working together and fighting the villain together, but also some really cool Jim Gordon and Perry White moments as well. So,
all right,
yeah,
interesting.
Yeah,
you know what else is interesting?
This book.
Well, maybe. Tell me all about it, Brandon.
Yeah, Nightwing number 127.
That suit, right?
Yeah.
Brought to us by Dan Waters with art from Dexter Soy, colors from Veronica Gandini, and letters from Wes Abbott with another cover by Dexter Soy and Adriano Lucas. this issue really opens up with we have our opening sequence with Bryce Moran looking at the tower, but the true start of the issue is with Mayor Grayson Lynn, who's preparing to give her statements in a mayoral debate as Barbara and Dick are watching at the now abandoned. I'm sorry, not at the abandoned. Or no, I think they are at the abandoned Titans Tower,
Yeah.
as Dick is sort of in the process of accepting that he has to move out, but doesn't really want to do so. Um, Mayor Lynn is getting ready to give her statement, but is faltering for some unclear reason. And that's when she sort of has a breakdown and reveals that her meeting with Olivia Pierce went horrifically, as we saw, before basically collapsing on stage and is rushed to the hospital. Um, Dick, of course, rushes off to make sure that she's okay, while Bryce Moran breaks in for reasons we've yet to see. And all the while, we're getting this like third person narration from a mysterious figure who I think everyone kind of realizes who it is if you read Tom Taylor's run. But for the sake of this issue, I'll keep it a mystery. This mysterious person is sort of narrating that things have changed a lot in Nightwing's life. And as he's continuing, he's interrupted by Dazani, which we have seen sort of lurking in the background in subsequent issues. And the Zani has decided that rather than let this mysterious person come to visit Nightwing as he normally would, he's going to expose his true form, to say the least. And that's all we get as Dick arrives at the hospital to check in on his sister. But before he can even say any words to her, just kind of asking if she can hear him, he notices that the doctors and the assistants are all looking off at the distance. It's something rather mysterious and disturbing. And that's when we get our first glimpse of what is attacking the tower, a truly horrifying purple amorphous figure with several eyes and teeth all over the place, latching itself onto the tower. Naturally, Nightwing has to go back to make sure that Barbara is okay. She's still there. And as he arrives at the scene, who else should be there but Olivia Pierce with some specialized technology that she has labeled the Von Gunther Ray after one Paula Van Gunther, old Wonder Woman enemy, that works using Kappa energy to destabilize the form of the creature. Nightwing, of course, is upset that the Pierce gang are there, but reluctantly accepts help from them, as she quickly explains that even if he were to go into the tower to try to save his girlfriend or anyone else that is in there, the unstable nature of the creature would basically destroy him. So he kind of needs the technology that Spheric is providing so that he can safely enter the tower, which he does so, but without much resistance, which again should clue in readers to who this mysterious figure is. It's not lashing out at Nightwing, it just kind of lets him open the door. And as he does so, and notices that the interior design of the tower has changed completely, that's when it all clicks, and he realizes that the person that is attacking the tower is none other than Nightmite, our old friend from the Tom Taylor run, as I'd mentioned, whose true form has been completely revealed as this monstrous creature and has latched itself onto the tower, screaming for pain and crying out for help. So, quite the start to the next part of this arc. Definitely was not expecting Nightmite to make a return. Assume that would just kind of be left in the past, as is a fun part of Tom Taylor's run. But it wouldn't be a Dan Waters book without some kind of horror, and we've had plenty of it. But this is just kicking it up a notch, revealing the monstrous form of the creatures from the sixth dimension. So I think it's a pretty cool way to kick off this next arc. Definitely has shown how much the city has changed in subsequent issues. And I don't know, it seems like yet another phase of the Zani and Olivia Pierce's grand plans to disrupt Nightwing and possibly bring him to their side. We don't really know what the plan is, but I'm excited to see what happens next. So 8.5 out of 10 for me.
What did you think, Rob?
It was, I think, a hell of an issue. Um, yeah, I won't give away the name of the mysterious character, but that I think for me was a welcome surprise. I honestly hope we can get to the bottom of this whole Zani thing a little sooner rather than later, because there's just been so many long run stories, and I get that's the thing, and Dan Waters probably has that coming. I would just I would love to see this whole thing with at least Olivia Pierce and or Zani wrap up a little sooner, and then we get to other stuff, you know, because we just had that with Heartless, and I was hoping this Nightwing run would be a little different, but we'll have to see. I could be wrong. Um, that's Yeah, that's basically. It felt like there was so much going on, and there was, but at the same time, there's not as much as you'd think. So I don't have a ton of notes. Um, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say. I like the new suit. It's probably not going to last long because it's given by Olivia Pierce, but it's a very nice design. Um, yeah, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Your scores crack me up. This for me is absolutely insane. Poor Night Might. I knew that the imps had true form. I don't think we've ever seen it to my knowledge, but holy hell, it is gruesome and kind of sad. Uh, I guess it's because he's like questioning, is this what pain feels like? So they must have to transform into a different form in order to enter into our universe. This doesn't look like it worked out so well for him. Can't say I've ever been suckered into an imp story before, but I am. This is good. And Dexter Soy was like, "Oh, Josh, you like my art? Hold my beer." Perfect colors from Gandini. This is not only a really enjoyable book, I have to acknowledge that it took a kind of story that I don't like, imps, and made me really into it. And that's what makes it absolutely insane. I got to give Nightwing a 9 out of 10.
Right on. We we were not gonna reveal who the mystery character was, but
Oh,
that's why I didn't have as many notes.
I mean, I said it at the end of my review. So.
Oh, you did?
that's
Oh,
covered.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that part. Well, I mean, okay, if it's out there, yeah, I'm stoked about Night Might. Now I can talk about the rest of my notes. I'm so stoked about Night Might. That reveal of the fifth dimensional imp having a true form just kind of blew me away. That was really fucking cool, and that, as much as I did mention about, like, I hope this Zani story can wrap up a little sooner rather than later, it was really cool to see that aspect of Zani able to not only have power over Night Might, but interact with him in a metaphysical sense, which really lends a bit more of a power scale to whatever Zani actually is, to the point that you got to wonder if there's anything that could even touch him. But we'll have to see. If even fifth dimensional imps could be terrified of Zani, then what the fuck could actually
right?
hurt him?
I mean,
Right?
you're talking about somebody that controls everything that can be controlled.
Exactly.
They just controlled that. What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
That's
The
not
true form of a fifth dimensional imp is insane. Not what I expected. Though, to be honest, I don't know what I expected. It just wasn't giant amorphous purple blob with
Nope,
multiple
definitely not.
faces. Yeah.
However, I am glad it's not a tiny bug.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with Night Might and Nightwing next issue. But like I said, I do hope that we can get a wrap up to at least the Olivia Pierce stuff sooner rather than later, because the questions are nagging at me. Who the fuck is she?
Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit
Ugh.
more than like an issue or two to get to those answers and have
Uh-uh.
it done in a pace that's satisfying, though. You know, I mean, this is a big story. It's a good story, and I don't think that it needs to be wrapped up quick. I'm enjoying the story. It's like, will I sit down and watch a 3 hour long movie? Fuck yeah. If it can keep me interested for 3 hours.
But that's what I
If
worry
it,
about. What if it can't keep me interested for 3 hours?
sit there and
That's
watch
the thing.
sit there and watch it and enjoy it like you do until it doesn't. Don't worry about it maybe letting you down in the future. Ooh, that's too much anxiety for something you're supposed to like.
I'm just saying, like, I've enjoyed stuff and it's gone on so long I've lost interest. And I was really excited to get the answers, but it got to a point where I'm just like, I don't even fucking care
Oh yeah, I mean we all read Future State.
anymore. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's why I'm always kind of apprehensive about really long form stories these days. It just there's so many of them. It's sometimes hard to keep up with all the little details that get crafted out in all
I
these different runs
I
over
just
like a
read one
year
of
and a
the
half.
best detective stories ever written, and it took 2 years to do.
Yeah.
So
It was fantastic,
and
but I do
I
wish it
I
was shorter.
enjoyed
There was a
Taylor's
lot
Nightwing
of
run.
filler issue in there.
Not a detective. There was just a lot of world building,
Yeah.
a lot of dots to connect.
But anyway.
Tom Taylor had filler issues, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed his Nightwing quite a lot, more than
Yeah.
you guys did. A lot
Oh,
more
I
than
really
Brandon did.
enjoyed his Nightwing. It just by the end it got a little stale. Like I said, I was starting to lose interest in the Heartless story, and then we are finally getting the Heartless. Just like, do I even give a shit anymore? However, Great Fallen Grayson was a fantastic fucking story, and maybe the best one he'd written in his entire run. And I enjoyed the most part of his run. It's just it took so fucking long to get to the actual Heartless stuff.
Well, that feels a little heartless. How do you feel about his group photo here?
There's a lack of hearts. There's a lot of skeletons. It's Titans number 24. This is written by John Layman with art and cover from Pete Woods and letters from Wes Abbott. This one can be summed up rather quickly. The Titans took the fight straight to the crime syndicate led by Deathstroke and got their asses whoops because Beast Boy, even though they all had their adversaries that they had to take down, Beast Boy was tasked with taking down Claw King, but the second he saw Deathstroke, rage overcame his body and just wanted to beat the living
Oh,
shit out of him, which I think is justified. I don't blame him in the slightest. However, Deathstroke
nonsense.
got the upper hand on him. Then Claw King got the upper hand on other people, and Titans just fell apart. And then Terra showed up, and that distracted Gar even more, which again, justified. Don't blame him in the slightest. And they had to like
What?
turn tail and cut out of there super fast. Thankfully, Vic was able to open a boom tube and get them out of Dodge.
That
And
was
then,
100% Gar's fault both times.
oh, it was, but at the same time, I
You
don't
should have.
blame him in the slightest.
You should.
Well, no,
They knew Tara was alive. Seeing
yeah,
her
but
shouldn't have done that.
oh,
And when you have a killer plan that is going off without a hit, and your plan is you want to take out Deathstroke, and the plan is working to take out Deathstroke, stick to the fucking plan, Gar. Stick to the fucking plan.
by all means, he should have stuck to the plan, just like Star Lord should have stuck to the plan in Infinity War to take off Thanos' gauntlet. But
Yeah, that dumb some
emotions
bitch.
trump logic sometimes, and I get it. I get it. With all the shit that Deathstroke did to him and his loved ones, the guy shot Gar's eye out for fuck's sake. But I don't blame him in the slightest, having his animal instinct take over. To be like, I need to fucking murder this man. I don't blame him in the slightest. And as Dick actually mentions later in this issue, they did know Tara was alive, but they did not know that she'd be working with Deathstroke because the last intel they had on her was that she actually was working to assassinate Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
I
think
mean,
that's what the shock was. That it was more so that Tara was there working with Deathstroke, as opposed to the fact that she's alive.
I suppose.
Yeah. But anyway, they go back to Titan's Tower and are starting to lick their wounds and try to recuperate because a lot of them are banged up and Roy's got a broken nose. Meanwhile, Vic is in the basement running diagnostics on Venadia, who was not present at the request of Donna Troy, which the rest of the Titans tend to agree with. And as Vic tried to explain to Venadia that it's only because we want to get a scale of your power. We're not entirely sure how much you have and how much you can actually do. And honestly, that scares us. And honestly, I think that was a wrong choice of words, Vic, because she then says, I will prove to you I can be a capable member of this team. And at the exact same time, despite having diagnostics run on her, she's put another body of herself headed straight for the crime syndicate, which was right exactly what Deathstroke and Talkman had planned, because now in 27 and a half seconds, according to the Clock King, everything's going to change. And after Mammoth failed at taking her down physically, Tara is able to manipulate her mentally. And then the crime syndicate appear at Titan's Tower, bashing it down, even though it's underground, because Tara's got Earth based powers. Hey, hey. Um, with Venadia, and they are there to take down the Titans once and for all. And the Titans still haven't fucking recuperated. And now they've
No,
got
they have
Venadia on their
not.
side, who was built to take down the Titans. How the hell are they gonna get out of this one? It's it's fucked. Yeah, next
Stay
issue
tuned,
is
folks.
huh?
I said, stay tuned, folks.
Yeah, next issue is going to be crazy, I bet. This issue was fucking doozy. It's a fucking doozy. We did get a little another moments of Roy and Donna getting a little too close again, and really makes me think that maybe John Layman's going to rekindle their relationship fully at some point in the future. Which I don't think I'm against. I think that'd be nice to see a little bit. I know a lot of Titans fans might be like, "Nah, leave that shit in the '80s and '90s. We've been through that. It's done. Let it die." And it's like, I don't know. They've been through a lot of shit themselves. They're adults now. Maybe it's time to rekindle some passions. Maybe we'll see. Roy's got his life together again. Donna's going through a good time in her life, despite the fact that she's potentially fighting with Diana again. But point is, I think they deserve some happiness together. We'll have to see what happens. If Raven and Beast Boy can find it together, by all means, let Donna and Roy have it too. Yeah, I do think that the whole thing with Venadia could have been handled a bit better, because it the the way they John Layman wrote Victor talking to her and explaining things to her just felt I like over explained, which felt a little bit out of character for Cyborg. Um, like he would have handled it a little more delicately, as opposed to, and I could be just again like misunderstanding or misinterpreting the dialogue, but almost while he did start out delicately, he was like, "Oh no, we just want to like make sure everything's good," and then came out right and say like, "We don't trust your power set."
You
We
saying
don't.
that Cyborg was droid splaining?
From a certain point of view. Yeah, and I felt like that could have been handled a little more delicately, but they had to get Venadia to the crime syndicate somehow. But at the same time,
With dope rhymes that I
why
kick.
the fuck did Venadia join the crime syndicate? Like, what did Tara have to say that convinced Venadia to fight against the Titans? Makes no sense. I'm hoping it's a double bluff. Double cross, gotta be. Triple cross, whatever. I don't know. We'll have to see. Then I just think next issue is going to be crazy. That's what I think. For now, really liking the art, really like the story. This issue is getting an 8.75 out of 10.
Will they or won't they isn't working for me, and it's not going to. As far as Venadia goes, I mean, as far as that's for Roy and Donna, and as far as Venadia goes, it took hardly any time at all, like literally just until Venadia said she'll prove it to figure out what was going to happen in this issue. I really like this series. I have been a fan throughout the whole thing. You got even when you guys have not been enjoying this, but this was a solid miss. The art was enjoyable, mostly. for sure. That double page splash was really good, except for Dick Grayson, who just so happens to be at the very center of the image. Everything else looks amazing except the central point of the image, and that's just
It's
a bad mistake.
it's in Dick's
But
contract. He has to beat the central point of any image he's in.
well, he should be drawn well then. And for me, it being like very, very broadcasted, everything that was going to happen, it just felt way too light, way too flimsy for me. 6.5 out of 10. You're still muted. But yeah, I was not happy with that one. Not at
This damn.
all.
There wasn't much to
Yep.
say.
No, I kind of agree with you. Honestly, the whole premise of the Titans kind of getting waxed by this version of the Crime Syndicate, like right off the jump, I was like, "This is I'm already in disbelief over this because you're leading me to believe that the team that was able to, like, I get it, the position of this book is shifted. The Titans are now in a, let's just say it, lesser role than they were, but the fact that they can't even handle Deathstroke and his kind of bootleg Fatal Five, or sorry, not Fatal Five, his
Secret Six?
no, the
Sexy Seven?
whatever. His team. God. Anyway,
The
I don't
Awful
know. It
Eight.
just seemed ridiculous to me. That like they're already that much at a disadvantage. So the whole twist of Venadia, I'm like, okay, I already know where this is going. And the attempts at melodrama between Roy and Donna and Gar still being like, Tara Markov was my first love, as though you haven't retread this plot point 4 different times throughout the 90s and even into the 2000s. So I don't know. There's so much about this that was very frustrating, but I don't know. I really don't know because there were definitely aspects of this run that I was kind of enjoying. Like, yeah, it's doing its own thing. Yeah, the Titans are in a much more diminished role, but Fearsome Five, that's what I was trying to say. That was the old New Teen Titans rival team. But yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, this is just, if this is the direction that this series is going in, just to further dig the hole that the Titans are like have been punished to, then I'm just not interested at all. So 7 out of 10 for me.
Well, there you have that there, folks.
I liked it. I don't know.
No mystery at all. There's a little bit of one in here though. Detective Comics 1098, written by Tom Taylor, art by Lee Garbett with Lee Low Ridge colors, lettering from Wes Abbott with the color from Miguel Yanin. Excuse me. In the truck Batman got access to at the end of last issue, he finds Penguin being held as a hostage, who he makes tell him where Bullock is. Harvick, Jim Christmas. Let me try that all over again. All right. He finds Penguin being held as a hostage. He makes Penguin tell him where Harvey Bullock is. Batman hijacks the truck and takes off to the base where he has stormed, where he storms in to save Bullock. He does just that. The man that was torturing Bullock, named Dr. Burton, is 130 years old, and Elixir is buddies with Ra's al Ghul. And Burton is far from the only one that is that old, according to Oracle anyway. With Burton now as their hostage, they are not done yet. The not quite so good doctor triggered a silent alarm, which called all the members of the local Elixir Union to attention. Harvey, with a gun to the back of Burton's head, tries to threaten him, but then they just shoot both Burton and Bullock. And that wraps the issue. The art in this one is phenomenal. I really enjoyed it. It was done so well. The story is pretty good too, though if I'm being honest, there was something off about Batman's voice in this issue. It just felt kind of sorry, Taylor. It felt kind of generic Batman, and that's a little weak on it. But everything else was awesome. Great art, really good story wise. I'm really happy once again with Detective Comics. 8.5 out of 10. I liked
All right, Jim Carrey. Now this was a really good one. Um, Batman and Penguin needing to team up because they have a common enemy. That was not on my bingo card for 2025, but here we are. Also, not the first time it's happened, but still kind of surprised me. It's really, really interesting, and I like the I like the dynamic he had for Batman reluctantly working with Penguin. How he's like, "I'm just gonna leave you here." Oh yeah, there's no bears here, but there are wolves. Get in. Fuck. That's just, I thought that was really, really well done. And Bullock, he's just brilliant side character. I know I raved about Bullock last month when we talked about Detective. Um,
it.
Even better this month. I didn't think that was possible for me. I love Bullock so much in this issue. He's tough, he's gruff, he's to the point, by the books, and he gets shit done. I love it. Um,
Gets fingernails pulled out and stays silent.
God, as somebody that I don't think I've ever said this to you guys, I have an irrational fear of that. And when I read that, I nearly closed the fucking book. I'm like, I got to take a break. And nope, push through. You only have a day to read this. Oh my god, that threw me for a loop. I can't even imagine. I think I got two pulled out like that. Yeah, that would have.
Yes.
I'd be like Weasel in the first Deadpool movie. Like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'll tell you everything.
Yeah, that's not irrational. That's a horribly painful thing.
Yeah, but like for me, it's irrational because like anything to do with my nails freaks
Mm.
me out. If I cut them too short, I get a
I
little
see.
freaked out. Yeah. Um, so even just like one falling off or getting taken off, just enough to immobilize me. Just like, okay, no, you win. That's it. Um, yeah. So that was fuck. I love Bullock so much. Yeah, this is fantastic. I hope he's not dead because that did look pretty like for real.
Mm.
We'll have to see. And this whole thing with elixirs got me stoked. It's a really cool mystery. I like it. Yeah, so this one's getting a 9 out of 10.
I'll give this an 8.25 out of 10 because of an odd team up, and seeing Batman and Ozzy forced to team up is always an entertaining premise.
Yeah.
And Lee Garbett is like got to be one of the most underrated pencilers out there.
Fucking A.
He's just always knows how to deliver. And some people might say an Olivier Capel knockoff. I would say piss off. But I think he does a great job. I I would say my it's not so much a gripe, but um, the thing that I am most cautious of, the thing that I'm most wary of, is I don't want Elixir to become, funnily enough, we're just talking about it, Heartless 2.0, which is here's a mystery, we're gonna set it up, and we're gonna just keep dragging it out for 20 plus issues, especially because this book, Detective, just kind of went through that with the whole Orgum saga, which had its ups and had its downs, but was a very, very long story dealing with one villain, one plot point, pretty much throughout the entire thing. So I'm enjoying it, but I don't want it to rush its way to its conclusion. I just hope it finds a way to either wrap this up in this arc or the next arc, so we can just move on to whatever mystery Taylor has next, assuming he
Yeah.
does have one. That's it, really.
Yeah, this arc does have a feel like it could wrap up the Elixir story because they're giving us a lot, and they're
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
at they're at an Elixir compound right now in front of like the entire fucking organization. If it doesn't get wrapped up in this story, I'd be very surprised
Definitely.
and maybe a little disappointed.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah, we'll have to see. Uh,
Well, you could
yeah,
always
yeah,
pray
everybody
for
gave
it.
their score right. Yep.
United they stand.
Divided, they fall.
Well, I mean, maybe.
We'll have to see.
Don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't think anyone is too divided in this issue, except for
No.
maybe the Justice League and the U.S. government. But
I just want to point out that the little kid on the cover, I thought that was Clarion,
Oh,
It does kind of have that vibe.
yeah.
right?
Also, it
No,
kind of
that
reminds me of
looks-
number 5 from the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah, which are like and Frank Castle or not Frank Castle, Castle from the Vigil as well. Like all three of those characters are like the
Yeah.
same character.
Yeah.
I dig it though. But anyway,
Yeah. New Gods #7, written, of course, by Ram V, with art from Evan Cagle, some additional pages on 1 through 3 by Travis Moore, colors by Francesco Segala, and letters by Tom Napolitano. This one should be pretty brief, or about as brief as I can bake it, as brief as I can make it. But basically, after getting mysterious signals, Cyborg rushes to alert the rest of the watchtower that something from New Genesis or someone using New Genesis technology is coming towards Earth, but he's a little bit behind because they're already there. And as we cut to India, where the New Genesis refugee ship is falling, the Justice League has gone to intercept it using the combined power of Cyborg's tech, 3 different lanterns, and Superman, to hopefully help the craft decelerate and land in an impact zone with minimal damage, which they're able to do so, thankfully. But not before some rather unfortunate arrivals, as Cameron Chase, agent of the DEO, arrives just as they're able to bring the ship to ground, and informs them that any extraterrestrial craft, especially one bearing quite a few passengers, should be under the purview of the DEO. Superman, of course, is vehemently against that, and they're in the midst of a standoff. Um, while Hal Jordan momentarily takes Chase's side, much to the chagrin of Green Arrow. That's when Orion, noticing that the guards working for the DEO are a little too trigger happy, and steps in for just a brief moment, hopefully not escalating things too badly, as Hal stops him. John then makes an executive decision and basically just builds a refugee base for all the New Genesisians, or however you pronounce that. Regardless of what Cameron Chase thinks, they're going to house them here, and it's just important that they take them in and give them somewhere safe as they're fleeing from their conflict. But at the same time, Mr. Terrific and Miss Martian are looking for another impact site, as they found a separate reading that recorded something else that crashed off from the New Genesis ship. Something small enough that it seemed like it might have just been debris from the craft, but in fact, as Mr. Terrific believes, was something else. And as we cut to a warehouse outside Bengaluru, we realize that he was in fact right. It was something else. As we catch up with one Desaad and Granny Goodness, who are planning their next moves. Presumably, they were the ones that had hitched along with the people of New Genesis, but are now hiding out, working with Maxwell Lord and, surprise, surprise, Metron a little bit, although it's not clear exactly if he's helping them or if he's just sort of going along with emotions because he knows what's going to happen. But regardless, he seems to be standing with them for the moment. as the rest of the people of New Genesis are processing what happened. Highfather is, of course, despondent, having lost his son and his city. Orion is processing the news that Light Ray may be truly gone, although if you read issue 6, that may not be the case. Um, and it seems that the section of land that the New Genesis refugees are occupying is at least guarded for the moment, with the Justice League being there and with the DEO providing extra surveillance. But as we see, someone else is lurking in the background and kills one of the guards who seems to be patrolling the area. And that person, at least as far as we can tell, is none other than Seraphin of the Forever People, who, as I mentioned, obliterates one of the guards and seemingly making his way towards the perimeter, which is where our issue ends. Pretty crazy, but as usual, this book is just the best book on the stands. There are a few books that are like that, but this is absolutely one of them. Like,
Yeah.
so many great moments in this, but I think the one I've seen the most consistently has to be the John Stewart moment of just being like, nah, forget this. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to give them a safe place. We're getting too in our heads about this. But I would give a very close second to Orion processing his grief of having
Oh,
lost Light Ray. That was just such a genuine moment.
yeah.
And him letting his rage just rip so powerfully that it literally creates a crater was, you really feel the intensity of it. So I don't know what is there to say about this. I have to call back to something that I said all the way back when we were reviewing Swamp Thing in 2021 or 2022, which is there's not much to say other than just read the book and you'll feel it yourself.
Yeah.
So easy 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, that pretty much says it all. Just fucking read it. This is a
Yeah,
runaway hit on the stands. It is, if I could borrow a term from the internet, this is a book of all time.
I think so.
It
Yeah,
really is, right? This is so fucking good. And it's written by Ron V. That's your first hint that you should pick it up. It's by all means check it out. Even if you're not a fan of the New Gods, this might feel a little out there. That's because realistically it's supposed to be. But it is so fucking good. Um I'm also getting the vibe that Ron V really wants to write a Green Lantern story because this is the second time a Green Lantern
definitely.
has popped up into an unrelated story, and he's written them so well. He really
That
has.
or
That
Green Arrow. And I know we did a Green Arrow short in the 80th anniversary special, but yeah,
yeah,
I could totally see it.
yeah,
But I also like Ollie is, I mean, Ollie's always Mr. Mouth, but he's particularly Mr. Mouth in this issue.
yeah,
And he was like that in the special, and he was like that in even the like one panel that he was in the Justice League Dark backup all the way back in like 2022 or something. So
right.
I also get the sense that he wants to write Green Arrow as well.
Maybe a Green Lantern Green Arrow book.
Maybe
It's
that'd
been
be
a
a hell
long
of a
time since they
thing.
had something like that.
Yeah. I
Right.
think what
Hard
I'd appreciate
traveling
about that
heroes.
is
Yeah,
like, well,
Hard traveled.
what I would want honestly is that he wouldn't just do the obvious thing, which is Hard Traveling Heroes Part 2. But if he was going to do a Green Arrow Green Lantern team up, it would be the thing you least expect. Any kind of team up would just, it wouldn't be, oh, we're going to go in the hatchback and drive across the country and see all the craziness. I'm sure he'd do that very well, but I get the feeling, much like with a lot of the books that he does, it's going to be a twist on that. It's not going to be exactly what you expect. If they're going to team up, it's going to be, I don't know, in the third, fourth,
It's gonna be
fifth
people
dimension or
learning
something.
shit.
I
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing Hal go to Ollie and be like, "Remember we took that road trip? How about we take a different kind of road trip?" And they explored the universe together,
yeah,
right? And they just get into a construct of a convertible and drive from planet to planet. And Ollie every so often comes across a scene of injustice on an alien planet that he needs to set right. And Hal's like, Ollie, come on. And like, no, we need to do this, Hal. Fuck authority. I would love that shit.
yeah. Or it could be a almost like a subversion. Like Hal is the one that kind of has to educate Ollie, because
Yeah.
Ollie's like, oh, I'm gonna try and solve it using Earth justice, and Hal's like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't.
yeah,
It's-
you've been able to fight crime in Star City, but you've never patrolled the sector. You don't really know what
Exactly.
it is to dole out justice on an alien planet.
Yeah,
Now that I think would
exactly
be an
that.
interesting twist.
Yeah, because that's Ollie's going to have to learn that other species, civilizations, and races on different
Ewoks.
planets are
Yes.
going to have different rules, different
Yeah.
ideas, different
Like
thoughts
imagine
and
it's like a,
feelings of what justice
yeah, like
is.
a civil conflict on Korrigar or something, and Ollie's like, well, obviously I'm gonna, take one side, and Hal's
Yeah.
like, well, it's not that black and white.
No, it's actually a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
that's the kind of thing I would expect if he
Yeah.
was to do that kind of
They
team up.
find
Something that just kinda
themselves on a
separates it.
planet dominated with something like Ewoks, where everyone is an even better archer than Ollie is.
That would be my favorite issue of all time. And the whole time, Hal's just ribbing Ollie. Like, thought you had better
Yep.
aim than this.
Yep.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. No, that would be a heck of a story arc written by Rom V for sure. But that's a book that doesn't exist. As for books that do exist, New Gods, fan fucking tastic. The emotion in this issue alone, and we don't even see much of Scott and Barda. Right? And they usually have all the emotion. We barely see them in this issue. All the emotion is from everybody else, and it's so heartfelt. It's so genuine. Like I 100% agree with you, Brandon. That stuff with Orion was fantastic.
Yeah,
You just feel his pain on the page. Just,
I think
oh,
it hits
shit.
even more because, like, obviously, there's a connection between Orion and Light Ray. Like,
Yeah,
Light Ray is the first person he talks to in the first issue of New Gods from 1971, so they have that
yeah.
history. Like, that's just a deep cut. If you know, you know. But you even if you don't,
I think they
if you
even
had read
acknowledge that in
issue.
the series, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Oh.
if you had read issue 6, they like explicitly say that Orion was Light Ray's first, or Light Ray was Orion's first friend, and was like the first person to not see him as the son of Darkseid or anything. He just saw him as a normal child.
Yeah.
And so to lose that connection is heartbreaking.
Yeah. Definitely always felt like a little brother, big brother kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Not sure what that would make the relationship between Scott and Orion, but maybe like twin brothers. I guess they'd be the same age.
I always saw them kind of like step.
I mean, they can't be twin brothers, right? I mean, one's Highfather's
Not
kid, one's
literally, but
Darkseid's
like,
kids.
yeah,
they're
they're
cousins, yeah.
two people
Yeah,
born on the
kinda
same
like
day, presumably.
Fraternal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always saw them in like a step brother relationship, or like
Mm.
I know it's not the same, but like they have that kinship of
Yeah.
parental guidance in a way.
Guidance. You mean abuse?
Yeah, well, I mean, Scott had abuse. Orion had.
Yeah.
Orion.
I mean,
had the
Orion, I
opposite.
gotta find that my dad just sent me here. Somebody that's supposed to be my entire people's mortal enemy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Wonder why he's so angry all the time.
All right. Art fantastic, story fantastic, emotion fantastic, moments fantastic, character work fantastic. Um, great voices all
Yeah.
around. I think so. This 9.5, 9.75.
Whoa.
Even better.
Stellar. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
absolutely stellar.
I'm in
I
love with this series.
can't think of anything wrong with it.
No, I'm in love with the series. I'm in love with the art. I'm in love with having a New Gods book. And I'm in love with the fact that this feels as though I'm getting to watch the New Gods turn into a whole brand new thing. And every step of that idea is exciting because it feels like it's being done in the best possible way. Issues 1 through 6 were an exercise in Ron V showing us that he is more than capable of taking on these characters, these very, to many people, sacred characters, and changing the story. And in this seventh one, he shows us that he doesn't just have a firm grip on it, but he's able to really get down there. Um, that page with Orion in the crater, I just sat there and stared at it for a second. I mean, that shit was impactful. And the issue is overall as a whole as well. I cannot it just all you got to get into this series, all you have to do is know the names of the characters prior. Just, this was the new gods. Some of them are with Dark Side, some of them are with High Father, and go. The
And
rest of
also
it
that
you
Dark
can,
Side is dead. You
yeah,
do need
and
to
and
do
also
that.
that Dark
Kind
Side
of
is
sets
dead.
up everything.
Yeah.
But past that, this is like the best possible time to get to know the new gods, and I think potentially the best possible way. I'm giving this. I originally scored this an 8.5. I'm actually going to bump this up to a 9 because it really is just amazing.
Yeah. And I don't remember if I've said it in previous issues we talked about this book, but it does feel like we're seeing the birth of the fifth world.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've talked about it with this
Yeah.
new kid
Yeah.
here and High Father being done with being called High Father.
Yeah, just call me Isaiah. And
Yep.
Light Ray dead and reborn into something else. Like, yeah,
Light Ray is
Apocalypse destroyed, essentially. Taken over by some other species. Darkseid
Yeah.
gone.
but Light Ray is.
Light Ray is, and so was Darkseid, but Darkseid ain't, and neither's Light Ray.
He is. He's just over there now.
Somewhere else, yeah.
Well, I do suppose that's neither here nor there. But this is God. Can we go through this look
Hell,
like
hell of a
quick?
transition.
I don't even want to look at this cover.
I wish, but this issue is thick. It is meaty. There's so much to talk about here. So I will
I
do
feel
this
like I
as
feel like
succinct
it
as
could be
possible.
wrapped up in 3 sentences, but
I mean,
go ahead.
if you want to do that, but like I don't know, there's a few different jump cuts here. This is written by Dan Slott with art from Raphael Albuquerque, colors from Marcelo Maiolo, and letters from Dave Sharp. With the cover from Albuquerque and Maiolo. This is Superman Unlimited #2. So we'll start picking up at the end of last issue. Superman's new ability, where he shrouds himself in a golden body, is revealed by Batman and other heroes that it is an extension, supposedly, of his ability, his supernova ability, where he like unleashes all the solar energy in his cells. Except in this case, as Connor Kent so succinctly puts it, he gathers 100 golden rings and unlocks supersonic. Um, and it makes him invulnerable to kryptonite for a few minutes, but then that depletes all the energy in his supercells, um, and takes away his powers until he can recharge them. But also at that time, when he depletes the solar energy in his cells, he's still super vulnerable to kryptonite. So good fucking luck. With that in mind, he goes about his day and being a hero. Meanwhile, Lois has expanded the Daily Planet to operate in many cities across the world, including Gotham City, Markovia, Simeon Island, which is 10 miles off the coast of Gorilla City, as well as the uh, island of El Caldero, which is where the kryptonite asteroid landed and is now the richest and most technologically advanced city on the planet. And they're so grateful to this that they even have kryptonite currency, and have even gone as far as being thankful to Superman for saving them and enriching their lives with all the kryptonite, that they have put him on the money and even put crypto on the coins. They're that happy about it. However, at this point, because kryptonite is in such abundance in the city and is actually the most expensive resource on the planet, of course, some would-be thieves show up and try to steal as much as they can. which is kind of crazy because fuck are you doing?
That's a
Why do you
good
gotta
question.
go in the middle of the street and be like, I'm taking your kryptonite? Just fucking go steal something. It's stupid. Anyway, it's besides the point. We'll talk about what's dumb later. The president then activates the crypto knights, which suspiciously look like atomic knights slash agents of checkmate. We'll go with that later. They take down these criminals, and then Superman arrives. Um, Actually, no, sorry. He arrives downtown where there's a different robbery in progress, where Knockout, the super strong super villain, is also there to help steal some gold. These robbers also have kryptonite bullets. Superman was not prepared for that because he just instinctively tries to let bullets bounce off his chest. However, this one went right through his body because it's kryptonite. They also have other kryptonite weapons such as a knife and knuckles, um, the duster. So he activates his golden ability, um, takes apart the kryptonite weapons, gets the bullet out of him, or at least it nullifies it, and he takes them down as quick as he can. And then his powers run out, and well, he just kind of talks Knockout down because now he doesn't have his powers. He can't let them know. Meanwhile, the Creeper, aka Jack Ryder, who was previously interviewing Clark Kent, or no, he wasn't interviewing Clark Kent. He was interviewing somebody about stuff, and Clark Kent corrected him. He's going a little crazy, and now he's out on the streets figuring shit out and being the Creeper. He comes across this whole scene, and after Superman was able to take down the ne'er do wells and Knockout, one more robber is able to point a gun at Superman, and this is when the Creeper shows up, knocks him out, and has a little bit of a talking to himself about what the fuck's going on with Superman. He has an inkling, so he spits some juice at him super fast and apparently hurts Superman. And that's when the Creeper is like, oh, okay, something's going on. And finally, in a secret location somewhere, the president of I forget the name of that nation, El Caldero, I believe it was called, is talking to a mysterious person about all the kryptonite, and hopefully, with this gift, that this mysterious person can help them protect the city going forward. And this person is none other than Toyman. Not just any Toyman. The animated series looks like a doll Toyman, which I'm so fucking confused. What the fuck's up with Toyman these days?
This is yet another toy man.
So there's three Toymans.
Now there is,
Oh dear God.
and also
All right.
just worth just making a note here, but the kryptonite island is Caldera, right? And the people that are the inhabitants of it are Calderons, right?
I guess they could be Aquaman, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Their name is Calderon. Calderans, Calderon.
Calderans.
I mean Calderon. On it's really
They
close.
could be Calderonians.
Sure, that's not what it was said in the book, though.
Oh, was it? I didn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Like I said, this book was thick with exposition and dialogue and content, and it was hard to keep track of everything. It was so thick, in fact, that a lot of it didn't even need to happen. Like
Yeah.
the fucking criminals trying to steal kryptonite. That was just dumb. First off, how'd you get there? Secondly, you're in the city. Just fucking take a chip off a building. Third, if you're in that city, like, if you live there, you're already rich. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of nonsense in that whole
Right.
freaking scene.
It made about as much sense as trying to steal a purse on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly the way to put it. Yeah, that's fucking dumb. The honestly, the only exciting thing about this for me was the last page reveal of Toyman, because it is a toy man that I grew up with. The animated series looks like an actual toy man, and I'm curious as to what the fuck is going on with that. But if the explanation of that has anything quality wise, what the fuck went on in this issue, I'm not looking forward to it. The reveal of Lois expanding the Daily Planet to go global with different offices around the world. That is an interesting development. I don't know how I feel about that yet. It feels a little big. It feels almost counterintuitive to the Daily Planet at the same time. And I
Feels
couldn't even.
completely unnecessary to me, considering
Yeah.
they're going to dole out that much money to put up brand new equipment all over the place when they could just do the same thing using the internet.
You know? Just seems kind of silly. Um, also,
Just a wee
how
bit.
did they get that much money, or did I miss that part too? And it was from the president of El Caldera. I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of shit
Not
happened
sure.
here, and not all of it was interesting. Some of it was kind of dumb. This new ability of Superman's is, like Connor put it, like he needs more superpowers. Uh, it's just, I think it'll be interesting. I think it's a cool little addition to his power set for now, but they put such rules and restrictions on it that it almost feels kind of fucking pointless.
Well,
Superman
it's
can go
the
Super Saiyan for 3 minutes at a time, and then he has no power. Yeah, uh, yeah, I guess. All right, this issue, I liked the art for the most part, um, so I'll give it that. And there were some very interesting parts of the story, and the whole thing with the creeper, while very random and seemingly felt very out of place, that was interesting. Jack Ryder's having a hard time with Clark Kent, and creeper taking over and be like, "Yeah, let's go out in the town, have some beers, eat a pizza, and blow off some steam. By the way, I'm not letting you have control again." Yeah, that was interesting, but again, very random, very out of place, seemingly not necessary. Um, with that in mind, I'm going to give this 6. I want to say 5.5, but I don't know.
I don't know. Didn't need another toy man. I do not like the art at all. The colors are really good, but the art itself is garbage. I think the story is pretty lame, and everything that happens in it is pretty lame. This is a huge miss. Uh, Again, great colors. 4 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10. I don't know. I know people are on the fence about Raphael Albuquerque's art in this issue. I will always love Raphael Albuquerque. I think his stuff looks great, and I've always wanted to see him do Superman. So that's really the biggest strength for the book for me. But I get the impression that this is, I don't know what I'd call it. It's like simultaneously Dan Slott really wants to have every aspect of the DC universe that he likes in this book, regardless of logical sense,
Hmm.
but at the same time wants to try and keep it as an interesting Superman story, and I just don't think it works as well as they're hoping for or intending. So it just kind of comes across as like okay. It's not terrible, but it could definitely be better, especially for how much they were advertising it.
And you saying Raphael Albuquerque's name shocked me just as much as when it is when I see it in the credits on this title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's very obviously his art style, but I don't know. Maybe for some people, it just doesn't feel like the right fit. I love it. I wish this book was written by someone else.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it had been okay, well, clearly I'm showing my bias here, but if it had been like a Scott Snyder and a Raphael Albuquerque, I think that would have been a knockout easily because I've been waiting for that book for years. They did a short in Action Comics 1000. it was great, and I was like, they would absolutely kill it on a Superman book. But I don't know. Yeah, maybe this just isn't working as well.
His faces are killing it for him.
Yeah, that's what I meant by for the most part. I enjoyed most of the art, but the faces were weird at times.
Well,
But on a side note, speaking of art, did anybody else get that vibe about the Crypto Knights of El Caldero? That they had that checkmate symbol on their chest. The helmet's very reminiscent of the Atomic Knights.
Yeah.
The fuck's going on here, right? Are they actually checkmate? Is that a hint? Is that like foreshadowing or coincidence? Like
Well, I
that's
mean,
been
I
on my
think
mind.
that's what the checkmate uniforms looked like.
Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
so
I
yeah,
will
I
have to
think
see.
that that's checkmate. They're hired basically as El Caldera's private security,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
royal security, however you want to put it.
Yeah.
From we could take it from one alternate kind of Superman story to another. This feels a little alternate to me.
Yeah.
I have whoops. Shit. I forgot all of the credits.
Written by Ryan North with art from Mike Horton and
Right, see, you can kind of
colors
guess.
from Ian Herring.
Give me 1 second here. I'm bringing it up.
This cover though by Jay Lee was the artist name, right? I recognize the art so well, but I always like misremember
Yes.
his name.
The cover is from Jay Lee and June
Jay
Chung.
Lee.
Brian North as the writer, Mike Norton as the artist, with Ian Herring on coloring and lettering from Lucas Catoni. There.
Right on.
Mission
almost there.
accomplished. All right. So this is a story. It's
About a
about
lady.
it's about Jor and Lara L sent
Did-
crypto in a
Did you
test
have to
flight.
start it like that? Because now the Brady Bunch is stuck in my head. I hate
That's
you.
that's your fault. You'll be dreaming about Alice later. um Story about Jor and Lara L signing crypto in a test flight for the escape pod that they wanted to use to save Krypton. It got sucked in by a sporadically appearing wormhole, slung to Earth, and then found on the street by a young Lex Luthor. I have told you the entire book now. The art is really cool, and I like the kind of brush or whatever it is that they used to make it look that way it does in a lot of panels. The colors were very simple but effective. I'm just not into this book. I want to be. I'm always a Super Pets fan, but this just feels so dumb. I mean, so dumb. And I like the Super Pets books that are written for 8 years old, 8-year-olds. Those are enjoyable. I just don't like this. It's obvious that it's only here because of the movie, but I'm fairly certain that this isn't going to be how crypto got to Earth in the Gunverse. At least I hope so. I really hope so. I just don't like it, except for the art. Also, I really want to say that the color and font used here by the letterer made this one of the easiest comic books for me to read in a long time. Made it a lot easier on the eyes, and I really appreciate that. But altogether, this is the first Super Pets book that I did not really enjoy. 5.5 out of 10.
Damn. I will say it spent a lot of time telling the same stuff over and over again. It's Lara and Jor-El. The planet's going to explode. What are we going to do? We got to do something. And it spent like what 17 out of 22 pages building to crypto launching away from the planet. It's like, we know
Right.
what's happening. Let's just get to it already. But once you get past that, you just see crypto in the ship, like, and his emotions and facial expressions, like whether it was Ryan North or Mike Norton that captured it so well. Mike Norton for sure captured it really well, and I don't know if Ryan North like directed him that way or Mike Norton just like knew what the fuck to do. But I think the way that they
Draw a
had,
happy dog. No,
Yeah,
draw a
like-
sad dog.
well, I mean, not even so much that, but like the expressions on Crypto's face and the body language alone is just like perfect. And you can just feel the emotion on Crypto without any dialogue necessary. I think that was perfect. Getting to Earth was when it really hit the ground running for me, and that's when the story picked up for all of like 2.5 pages until at the very end where he runs into the first nice person they meets in Metropolis on Earth, and it's Lex fucking Luthor. Okay.
So
Now you've got my
dumb.
attention.
No.
And I do think this is supposed to be in continuity. I don't think it's like out of continuity. As
Well, that
Crypto's-
is so sad to hear.
has Crypto's like journey to Earth ever been cataloged in a story? Or
No.
is it just
No, well,
Probably
it's
like the
been done a
50s or
couple of different
60s.
times, right, Brandon? But just like glossed
Yes.
over, yeah.
I mean, it just depends. Like the last one I can think of is the New 52 origin where Crypto was in the Phantom Zone and
right?
Superman had to bring him out. But
Yeah.
in recent times, I don't really know.
Yeah, well, I liked it for the most part. I just wish it got going a little faster and didn't spend most of the issue just with Lara and Jor-El rocketing him away. It could have the first 10 or 12 pages I feel like could have been done in 2 or 3, right? But I do believe in Ryan North right now. I'm really enjoying a lot of his work over at Marvel, so I do have high hopes for this book. We'll have to see going forward. For now, it is getting a 7.5.
Yeah, this is a 7 for me. Like Mike Norton, always a win. But obviously, Crypto is going to be a hard sell. I mean, what is there really to say? I could see something interesting as like a silent comic or something, told from Crypto's perspective. But obviously, it's not what they opted with. So yeah, I don't know. There's really not much to say on this one. I was surprised to see Ryan North attached to this. Feels like an odd choice, given that he's writing Fantastic Four to do a Crypto miniseries. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it'll pick up in later issues when Crypto eventually finds his way to Superboy. But for now, yeah, it's very middle of the road.
I was thinking about that today, like how he ended up at DC writing this book, and I'm just thinking like he's writing One World Under Doom, he's writing Fantastic
Yeah.
Four. I think he's got a couple of indie stuff going on right now as well, and probably like had a contact at DC that he worked with at Marvel or something, and just like, hey, by the way, DC sent out this inter office email like, we're doing the Summer of Superman. If anybody has a Superman story they'd want to pitch us, go for it. And you're like, maybe I have a Crypto story. So pitch it and see what they say.
It's more
Either
like,
that or,
hey,
like,
crypto is going to
somebody-
be a major selling point of this Superman movie that's coming up, so we're going to need to push that fucking dog. Who's got a fucking dog story?
I mean, there's that, but like the end of the day, like I'm saying, how do they get Ryan North, who so far hasn't worked at DC?
Oh, I don't know. Probably something like, I'm sorry, how many zeros? All right, give me.
All right.
Ryan North is kind of sort of a maybe not quite superstar, but like a very, very prominent writer at Marvel, isn't he? But like over the in modern times.
Prominence. I think he's still fairly new to like the mainstream.
I feel like I feel like I really know that name.
I mean, I've been raving about him for the past 2.5 years with Fantastic Four.
Oh, that yeah,
Yeah,
Fantastic Four. That's
yeah,
where I know him.
yeah.
I mean, he's been writing there for 2.5 years. I wouldn't call him niche, but
No, not niche, but like he hasn't like written a whole bunch of shit at Marvel, as far as I know.
Yeah.
He's like,
I
as
mean, I
far
think
as
that's why.
mainstream big name books, he's really just done Fantastic Four
Yeah,
and
that's
One
that's
World Under
why
Review.
people were surprised when he took over the book in 2022. 'Cause they were
Yeah,
kind of like, who?
yeah.
I think he did a Secret Invasion miniseries, and
Oh, that's who
honestly,
wrote
that's it.
that.
And
That
maybe a
wasn't
couple of
good.
like other short stories here or there, but not really a lot of
Shit.
stuff.
Yeah. Oh man, I hate when like I read a book that was just kind of like shoved in as a miniseries somewhere, and I'm like, yeah, this was okay, and then like
Mm.
4 years later, I'm like, oh, this ongoing by this writer, so fucking good, and then you remind me that he wrote that shitty miniseries I read
Yeah,
4 years prior. I'm like, oh fuck, really?
you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. That Secret Invasion
yeah,
was only slightly better than the TV adaptation.
I can't
Anyway,
remember a thing about it except that
yeah,
I'm pretty sure I
well,
read it.
I just remember Tony tried to kill some squirrels. That's all I
Yeah.
fucking remember.
all right. Well, I
um,
guess that wraps
yeah.
up the books.
Mhm.
Let's go ahead and fetch the top three. I can kick those off.
Shit, what did I give crypto? Forgot to write it down. 7.5, I believe.
Okay, I believe you. But mine are going to go in third place. I'm going to give it to Detective. In second place, I'm going to give it to Nightwing. And in first place, I am going to have to give it to Worlds. I'm just kidding. New Gods, obviously. Um, which, shying away from some moments that I think are quite obvious to be shining moments and likely ones that you guys will pick. I'm going to pick that my favorite moment was seeing Miss Martian back in a book and more than just somebody that was drawn as a background character sitting over there. And I love how she looked. That was cool. Mostly keeping with how she's supposed to be. But I thought it was really good. And I hope that we get to see more of her. She was one of my favorite parts of Young Justice. So
Right on.
that's my favorite moment. What
Oh,
about
yeah.
you guys?
As for me, I had Detective Comics at number 3. I did have World's Finest at number 2, as I gave
Gross.
that a 9.25. You're gross. And I had the New Gods at number 1. Um, my favorite moments. I had a couple of favorite moments, and I so close to pulling from World's Finest, but I don't want to give anything away because you haven't read it yet, and I don't want to like put you off the book. 'Cause I know you hate fun moments in World's Finest, Josh. I'll pull from the New Gods, and quite honestly, I feel like I'm taking it from Brandon. But that whole thing with Jon Stewart saying, "Nah, fuck this, fuck authority. I'm gonna do what I need to do." That was perfect. It was like perfectly Jon Stewart, and it got me excited for Romney to like do more Green Lantern stuff because he has such a great grasp of their personalities.
Fantastic. What says you,
Well,
Mr. Chen?
yeah, for me, I have in third place. What did I have in third place? I'll give that one to Detective Comics. Second place will be Nightwing, and first place I got to give it to New Gods. But rather than pick really any moments from New Gods, which I think would be just too obvious, though they were great. I have to give it to the double page spread in Nightwing of the reveal of the horrible creature that
Oh yeah,
uh, well, I
Oh,
can't say taken shape of Nightwing, Night Might, but rather what Night Might has become. Um, because I think it's just like that is such a great reveal to have when you're turning the page, because you're just, the doctors are looking out the window and you flip the page and it's just body horror from one page to the next. But I
Yeah.
love the line of dialogue that they have there that says, "Is this what they call pain?" And it's just like the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. So
Right? Like, cause
very
he
gruesome.
obviously he never knew what pain was before.
Yeah,
That's heavy, man.
Mhm.
certainly not like that.
Well, then I guess we should pick our favorite cover now.
Yeah. I
And
have an
I
idea what
lived
mine
off the
is.
like what I considered to be the most obvious moment, and that was the emotional crater left behind
Yeah.
by Orion. And
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
if there has ever been a more appropriate time to use the phrase emotional crater, it is
Yeah,
now.
There
really.
you go.
But all right, let's take a look at the covers, shall we? Crypto, which has some weird ass fucking golden child super baby shit going on there. That's all
In
I
case you
saw when I
didn't
saw
know,
that.
that's Kal-El.
I'm aware of that, but it looks like golden child super baby from Frank Miller, and
Yeah,
I don't like it. Um, Superman Unlimited, the New Gods,
brilliantly done.
Detective Comics,
Mikhail Yanini can't go wrong.
Titans,
Yeah.
and Nightwing.
Say, normally I would like this Nightwing cover, but I just don't have a good sense of what Nightwing is doing.
It's very
Yeah,
awkward.
it
Is
is
he
like,
flying? Is he leaping?
jumping from something. But if he's
Like
jumping from
it
something,
doesn't. It
what's he
doesn't really
jumping
make
from?
sense.
He feels like too into the foreground to be jumping from that box.
Yeah, the perspective is all
Yeah,
fucked up.
and what's he
His
jumping
leg,
at?
his long, extended legs should be trailing from further behind him, and he should be
Yeah,
leaping off of that building from behind him. But instead, he's using his new flight powers.
yeah. Let me strike a pose before I punch a cop in the
There's
face.
nothing to it. Strike a pose. Come
Yeah.
on, let's do it.
So that's the only reason why this cover does not even register for me, because it does tell a bit of a story, just not enough.
It doesn't do it right. This is
No,
creepy, and I feel bad for
it
Donna.
is.
I feel like she got the shit end of the stick here.
It,
I don't know why her skeleton feels more horrible than anybody else's, but
because it has the odd strand of hair. Actually, Roy's does. Oh, they all do actually.
yeah, they
But
all
no,
do. But
yeah,
hers just looks rough.
yeah. This one
What do you
is
what are you thinking, Rob?
it's Mikel It's it's beautiful.
Right, Brandon? Do you have a favorite?
Um, a lot of these covers were not the best, save for New Gods, so it's a bit of a tough pick. But I will say, again, rather than choose the obvious cover, the Superman Unlimited cover uh, it is an interesting framing. I think that's why I'm drawn to it. Like I like
Yeah,
the setup of it, where it's Superman. He's got his fists up, and seemingly people are gonna attack him with kryptonite weapons. Like it's great framing. I think it would work a little bit better with different colors. I don't really like how muted they make Superman's suit look and everyone else's skin, but I,
yeah.
I like the setup enough that yeah, that I would be willing to go with this one.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Rob, do you got a pick yet?
I'm kind of torn. As much as I love Mikel covers, I am kind of torn between Crypto and New Gods, because I do like a good Jay Lee pinup. But you know
Jay
what?
Lee
I might just have to go with New Gods because it is
channeling Frank
gorgeous.
Miller.
Yeah,
The solid
New
looking
Gods
fucking
it is.
monkey in that, man. Fucking New Gods is a great one, but then of course, straight out of my top 5, we've got rocking on the cover this week, and that's gonna be Mikhail Yanin in Detective Comics, and you just can't go wrong with that. He has such command of the neon lights as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely love his work. And I think that's it. That's the entirety of the show. God, I'm just sitting there thinking about that cover again. I want some Virgin McKelney art so bad.
Right?
So bad.
Definitely.
All right. There. Ha, done. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same geek time, same geek channel. That is the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
Peace.
See ya.